Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Tech Sergeant Robin W. O'Bannon, United States Air Force retired, and welcome to the Promissory Note Project. Um, I wrote something, so I want to make sure that I get this all right, so I wrote it down. And so just bear with me as I read this to you. But yes, I did write it. History bears witness to and a complete record of a business that is left unfinished between the republic that overstepped its bounds and the God that established it. That unfinished business includes the repentance or a turning away of a nation from a behavior that usurps the unalienable rights of all Americans. And not just the behavior, but the seed that's buried deep in the hearts of the citizens of this nation, from which our tendency to usurp the rights of others grows. What is that seed? It is the false belief that some lives are worth less than others. This false belief follows the pattern of all false belief, where false belief leads to false faith, which leads to false actions, leading to false outcomes. And it is those outcomes, those symptoms of false belief that plague us as a nation today. Treating these outcomes as normal when they are anything but simply reinforces a false belief as a fact, and round we go. Living in a state of denial that there have been two very different American experiences occurring simultaneously since the inception of the country. The first experience is the experience of the descendants of free immigrants. The second experience being the experience of the descendants of chattel or human property slavery. These experiences differ in nearly every aspect of American life. This includes, but is not restricted to, the educational aspects, economical, legal, medical, and familial, and even religious aspects of the American experience. So historically, these experiences were so vastly different that in 1866, a very precise law had to be written in order to bring the second group up to the same rights level as the first. A pathway, kind of a back door to citizenship because of the unique journey and circumstances under which they and their ancestors came to be. These are my ancestors, right? Under that unique journey and circumstances under which they came to be and stay in the United States of America. No other conspicuous group in America, before or since, shares the chattel or human property slavery legacy and experience. Subsequently, no other group requires this particular path to citizenship, nor can they claim it. It is important to note that when we don't assign skin color to the experience, we can clearly see how irrelevant skin color is to this conversation. Here's the real truth. The real truth is that every soul is of infinite worth. Every soul is of infinite worth and value. And if another group of Americans had come from the same experience, it would still require the remedy that we're seeking. And that remedy begins, in this country at least, with the full execution of the Civil Rights Act of 1866, passed by Congress on April 19, 1866. It was ratified 150 years ago, just December 6th of this last year. This law is sometimes known as the full-bodied 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment that is so hotly contested today was passed by Congress on June 13, 1866, and ratified July 9, 1868. We here at the Promissory Note Project ask that all take into consideration the time in which this legislation was passed, for whom it was passed, and what was actually occurring that necessitated its creation and passing. An understanding of the Civil Rights Act of 1866 is a full understanding of the 14th Amendment. So what does this mean to us today? It means that even then, there are people who are working on behalf of what is right in order to make sure that all Americans could enjoy those things that were laid out in the Declaration of Independence, the ability to pursue life, the ability to pursue liberty, and the ability to pursue what makes each of us happy. This has never been fully afforded to all Americans across the board in the country since the country came into being. And that is why we believe that the initial remedy is to, or the initial remedy, because we've got a lot of work to do, is to ask, to request, to demand as sovereign citizens the full execution of the Civil Rights Act of 1866. That will set us on a correct path. This is not the first time that this has been attempted, but here we are in 2019, and issues of the past still impact us greatly today. So join us here at the Promissory Note Project as we begin our journey toward not victory, but equality and justice in the United States of America, so it can now be the beacon to the rest of the world of fairness and of justice and equality that it was always meant to be. We're happy to have you here at the Promissory Note Project. We hope to have a lot of wonderful conversations with sovereign citizens just like you and me. Welcome to the Promissory Note Project. I'm writer and producer, Tech Sergeant Robin O'Bannon, United States Air Force, retired, and I am honored and look forward to taking this journey with you.